So we're going to see straight off the bat Finesse just removing the first bad. We see it time and time again. We keep mentioning it. Solid pick. Move it out of the support pool, forces things like Muriel's to come in, and we see things like Narbash being picked a little bit earlier to secure a support, and Twin Blast being banned on the side of Reborn.
There we go. Get rid of that friggin' double carry. I've been saying it all day, Jim. Someone ban Revenant or Twin Blast, please. And finally, Jay Leo, a man after my own heart.
They don't have to ban it at all. They can just pick it themselves. One of their picks, which I like.
Maybe they pick Revenant.
Yeah, but Finesse's first pick, so that means Reborn can guarantee at least one of the two.
Yep.
They can grab it either way in that regard as well. But this way, they force Finesse potentially onto a completely different composition than what we've been seeing throughout the tournament.
Immediately, Morgesh picked up here. Could be an off-lane Morgesh, more than likely, given that Twin Blast is not on the field for Strafe to be put in there. And a quick response from Reborn. J. Leo Grande, twitch.tv/J. Leo Grande, picks up that Grux. Muriel again being picked up by, could potentially be an off-lane Muriel, but more than likely the support Muriel being picked up by Master Splinter. We saw Reborn played so well around the Muriel, always peeling away, waiting for a lacquer to be up, waiting for her shields to be up, and then re-engaging when they were back up, playing around Reversal of Fortune when the cooldown is up or down, really getting the most out of her kit. The player themselves can only do so much. It all comes down to how your team overall manipulates the in and outs of Muriel's kit, and Reborn has done it the best so far this weekend. And I think we're going to continue to see that very high-level play, specifically when it comes to positioning around those shields coming out from the angelic robot.
And on the side of Finesse, the next couple of picks, we see that they get that Revenant secured for themselves. So Strafe is most likely going to be on that Revenant. We saw him, I think, was it game 2 playing Revenant, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
And they also got the mid laner on that howitzer. Proficiency is going to have a howitzer. So he's going to be incredibly happy to have that. Strong mid laner. Even though Decker has been removed, even though Bellica is up, we've been seeing a lot of teams not favor Bellica as much. Howitzer still, especially without a Decker, you need a little bit more crowd control abilities as well on the team, and the mine can help quite a bit.
Well, Lannister always pays his debts. Greystone is now on the field, and someone hasn't paid up. That's Team Finesse. They're going to be facing up against the off-lane Reflect Greystone. If you think Feng Mao is frustrating to try to deal with split pushing, try dealing with the Greystone. He is even more of a nuisance on the field. Now, different play style than Ram Riddles, but they do share enough similarities to where I expect them to just constantly be pushing in that wave.
We do see the Narbash and the several rounding out this composition from Finesse, but on the subject of Greystone, we know that his early game is actually significantly weaker. So we're going to be Finesse is going to be looking to try and punish it. And we see Reborn round off their composition with a Sparrow partnered with the Muriel and a lot of sort of beefy frontline with the Greystone, looking to sort of take fights around the inner fire coming out from Sparrow, which is going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Really, the only two people who come to mind when it comes to Sparrow players are NATO and Cameron of Think Twice. Other than that, you really don't see Sparrow that much. You really, really don't. But those two guys, NATO and Cameron, they are comfortable on this hero. And more importantly, their teammates know how to play around Sparrow, around her strength, recognize that she is very susceptible to her lack of mobility, and play around that accordingly. A great deal of peel is going to be provided by J. Leo Grande on Grux, as well as the Solo Nazgul of Seismic Assault and Zone Control coming out from the rest of Bellica's kit. And, of course, the just extra damage mitigation coming out from Muriel. So I really like this composition. Reborn are keeping it in the family with the Greystone and the Sparrow. But on the other side, Team Finesse drafted literally the exact same draft that won them Game 2 up against Team Oxygen. So they're in their comfort zone, too.
Yeah, it's a strong composition from both sides. And it's going to be interesting to see if we have a sort of stalemate again, and it ends up being another sort of slugfest that we've been seeing, where back and forth throughout the entire game, with neither team taking sort of any big risks, because none of these compositions sort of look like they want to take big risks. Specifically Reborn side with the Sparrow and the Muriel, they just want to sit there and farm up, get Sparrow to late game, protect her, and try to win off the power of a late game carry in that regard.
as we used to say in another MOBA back in the day, a 4 protect 1 sort of strategy. And that's almost what this looks like, with NATO being such an incredibly talented Sparrow player. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the finals of Paragon Competitive League North America number 8 between Reborn and Team Finesse, who have knocked out Arctic Wolves, knocked out Oxygen. And here they are. Man, if they could knock out Reborn, that would just outright be an upset. Not going to lie, with the way Reborn played previously. But I mean, I think it's a total possibility here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think. Spam those emotes. Chat, who do you think is going to come out on top? Over in orange. You guys know him. You guys love him. And spam some J. Leo emotes while you're at it. Master Splinter on Muriel. Solo Nazgul on Lieutenant Bellica. J. Leo Grande on Grux. Reflect on Greystone. And NATO Sick on Sparrow.
And on the side of Finesse, we have Strafe on that. Sorry, my throat's been killing me. So we have Strafe on the Revenant, Chillphil on the Sevrog, Suki on the Morigesh, Proficiency on the Howitzer, and Luzer on that Narbash.
And I gotta say, I already favor Reborn. Reflect, rocking that new Greystone skin. Shout out to the graphic effects teams on that skin. The reforged animation on that is so sick, nasty, dope. It's so good! Absolutely love it. Who thought that dying would look so good? Signed, Reflect. Reflect, that's your motto now. And I hope you keep that. Judging by the mid lane here, Nazgul versus Proficiency. Both of these are, you know, pretty good at their respective role. But again, Bellica is favored in that 1v1 matchup. Very rarely, though, does a mid lane come down to a true 1v1. It's always coming down to constant rotations around those odd minutes with the junglers. Sometimes supports rotating over.
Yeah, again, straight away, right off the bat, neither team doing a sort of interesting strats that we see, or unique strats. Fairly safe start from both sides. Leo's going for the white-green clear on the Grux instead of the white-green. So he's going to get the quicker clear. However, he won't have that green buff ready for the 3-minute mark in case there's a fight around that time. But he will be level 3 guaranteed before.
Revenant's one of his biggest strengths is his ability to just bully out offlaners. Lucera and Thunk is able to accent that even more with Thunks and providing sustain through heals. I believe Lucera already has a Circle of Health, so already providing essentially a healer token to Strafe. Greystone, very easy to exploit level 5. When the moment he gets level 5, it completely switches the field around. It's actually difficult to lock him down against a Greystone who's able to recognize when he needs to get himself out of a sticky situation. Already, they're pushing this tower very, very early. No attempts, not even an attempt, but clearly, Team Finesse does not want to freeze this lane. They want to push it down as fast as possible and do exactly as I mentioned. Exploit the fact that Greystone pre-level 5 is very weak when it comes to wave clear and very susceptible to getting down for first blood.
He also has a lot less effective health compared to before. Even though he has the passive now that blocks an occasional hit, he's not actually able to tank as much as before. He has a lower health with the change on the passive, which makes him a lot weaker here in the early stage, especially if you just get Narbash just to like hit him and remove one of the stacks.
Now, Suki's doing a good job. 8 CS already over there. So already starting to have a better time on that hero than he did on Revenant in the previous game. Of course, Revenant can flash farm a little bit better. Morgesh's flash farm ability is pretty diminished just due to the nature of it. You see Leo Grande hanging out right there. I think he actually he hit the back button, which if Suki is on point with his headphones, he probably heard that going down. So Leo Grande was like, "Oh damn it," and just sort of walked away. Other side of the field, Lucere and Strafe just are trying to find kill potential on Reflect. He's at full HP. He only has one more charge of his healer token. I'm sorry, of his health potion left yet. And once Strafe hits level 3, that's when you get the full combo, the Obliterate paired up with the Scar with the extra damage, and that's when all of a sudden it's just not a good time to be an offlaner.
It's again the same sort of start we see at the beginning, where neither team really wants to, go for anything drastic. The river buffs are just being taken. It's a bit of a little sort of passive start to the game. I think the passive start is actually in the favor of Reborn right now, purely because they have a Sparrow who just wants to sit there, try and get a couple of levels of CXP, and try and get to sort of the later stages where Muriel with the Reversal of Fortune and the Consecrated Ground can just sort of keep her alive a little bit longer. Now, I've been thinking about the topic we were talking about a little bit earlier, the drink.
Yep.
The cop guys. So we have the Bellica and the Murdoch. They probably know how to have a good drink after a long day of work.
That's a good point. You're right. That's a very good point. Think about that. I bet Bellica will drink you and I under the table, man.
Probably.
You and I will be done. She'll be like, I'm fine. I know what you guys are talking. You need me to drive you home? So I have a feeling where she comes from, they don't have cars. I mean, maybe they're cars, but probably not the cars we're familiar with. I don't know. We need some more lore, Epic. We need some more lore. Reflect hit level 5, and really wasn't harassed out of lane, not even once, not even close. I mean, he backed for his ward, is what he did, but he wasn't completely forced to back out. Engagement in mid lane. Proficiency. Chillfield has the purple, holding on to it. He's just sitting there inside of it. Subjugate lands on Nazgul. R2000 rocket. Lucer's the one who's going to get the kill. But that's okay. Support needs farm too, especially early on. I know a lot of people frequently get frustrated when support takes kill, especially in the early stage of the match. But support's getting infusions of card experience early actually benefits your team greatly. Earlier quenching scales, earlier Honor the Pure, earlier ward. So Lucer picking up that kill is just going to be an earlier timing for them getting very, very important early games items onto a role that otherwise is starved for any sort of semblance of farm.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, in that last fight, it looked like there was a little bit of a communication issue on the side of Reborn. You could see Solo Nazgul sort of walking around, waiting for Leo Grande to come up the ledge, but he ends up dropping, and then Leo goes back up, and then neither of them are actually coordinating strong effort, which ended up with Nazgul getting caught out there during that gank. Whether or not that was a communication issue, or whether or not Finesse recognized there might be someone coming to flank and they decided to stay on that ledge, is going to be interesting to know.
I have to commend her flexibility to be patient. Level 5, 19 CS compared over to the other side of the field with 20 of Suki. So Greystone definitely has a little bit more of a struggle when it comes to the first 5 minutes of the game, and he's able to storm the gates up to the high ground and pick up a gold buff as well. I feel like that's just a little bit of complacency coming out from Team Finesse, like being like, we'll go back and find the gold buff. But instead, Reflect recognizes it was still there, jumps up and gets a little bit boost, even a bigger boost to farm. Other side of the field though, Suki's tower, he's going to fall. I would have never expected that a Greystone's tower remains alive while a Morigesh on the other side of the field loses her tower much, much earlier.
It is already that point in the game where 7 minutes into the game is kind of where you see that a lot of the tier 1s fall down. They've lost a lot of their early game protection. You can build up a pretty big siege wave, and Reflect taking a full brunt of a Thunk Obliterate combo, putting him incredibly low, but he is going to be okay. He still has the Reforge, so no matter what, he's still alive. But level 1 cooldown on the Reforge is incredibly long, and it's something you're going to expect to see Finesse try and punish. So if they can pop the Reforge, then look for a fight within the next 2 minutes, they're in a really good spot.
8 minutes in, we already see the lane swap. NATO and Master are now on the left side of the field. Reflect back, spins, heals on the way to the right lane. Morigesh versus Greystone. I feel like that's a matchup where Suki can just almost... I mean, I'm not too sure. I feel like Morigesh is favored in that matchup. Can just bully around Greystone, can just mark, hive. Anytime Reflect starts to engage any sort of harassment onto Suki, he just runs away using the swarm. We'll have to see, and that's pretty much what's going to happen. Yeah, there's the turnaround hive, and just starts marking him up here. So we'll keep an eye on this off lane if Reflect is going to have a little bit more help when it comes to securing farm, and also this is also an indirect way of dealing with Greystone's pressure on the map, is just put him in a 1v1 matchup where he is not favored whatsoever.
And if it gets to the point where he can survive a lot of the hive, he can actually just take out Suki fairly easily in an actual fight. It looks like Reflect does actually grab the gold, and this is the fight I was talking about. Reflect can just carry on chasing this, should he choose.
Especially with Jay Leo here. He's going to have to charge forward to get this kill. Actually, just uses the challenge of the Warlord. Plenty of mana for a smash and grab. Greystone sitting on the high ground. But the rest of Team Finesse is there to rotate. Good rotation from Proficiency. Landmine knocks them both back. But here comes Suki. Void Drone, just the good old combination coming out from Bellica. Pretty straightforward kill. Suki gets taken out, and Reborn get themselves on the board.
They are on the board, and it is actually going over to the side of Nazgul. So he's now at 13 points, and actually doesn't have a completed item just yet, but he will do when he next recalls. And we can see the duo carry of Sparrow and Muriel actually trying to take a fight here against the Narbash and the Revenant.
This matchup here between these two carrying supports, I feel like is very situational as to which one has an advantage over the other. Sparrow has good harassment with Piercing Arrow, but of course, Obliterate is the best harassment in North America. But it all depends on creep. So if there's creep around, then Obliterate really doesn't do much. So we'll have to see how this goes down. And of course, Muriel can just completely negate Obliterate with her shields as well. Over here in mid lane, Proficiency is in some trouble. Reflect is here, but if no CC, he should be able to run away and keep himself alive. But there's Leo Grande, and he's going to secure the kill. Just rotating over, uses the Obliterate on a Grande, but he's going to be okay. Continuing to pursue, but I'm pretty sure Strafe is not going to be able to get that one in the bag. And they're going to be able to get a clean kill over to mid lane, retreat accordingly. Raptors just spawn, and here we go. Full 5-man commitment of the Raptors. This should be able to pick up here. Contention from Team Finesse, potential to do so. Pretty minimal, and they're going to be giving this up.
It is 10-minute Raptors on the side of Reborn. It allow NATO, who hasn't really gotten on the board yet, to actually get a lead in points. So he's now at 18 points, has got 5 to spend. He's going to be getting nearly a completed item on his next back, which is actually going to be a pretty significant increase in power. That piercing shot is actually going to be a real nuisance to deal with. It's one of the things I think can actually rival the Obliterate, because NATO could just sit really far back in the lane and just throw out a piercing and just chunk them down a couple of times, and then look for a fight where you have a lot of shields, and you have to then force Luizer on the Narbash to then expend his mana to regen up whoever's been hit by the piercing shot.
Proficiency's there to clean up this wave to make sure that the Sour doesn't get taken out. It was a siege minion, but he actually, good utilization of the landmine there. He actually dissected the wave. He knocked the siege minion back, which meant only the melee creep went under the tower. Cleaned that up. By the time the siege minion showed back up, there's no more creep, and the siege minion went down very quickly, so the tower took very little damage. Could have been a tier 1 tower if no one there was to respond, but they're going to fall back 1 more minute until the next spawning of the river buffs. Strafe pressuring mid lane. Might get a decent amount of damage here. We see Leo Grande is on the strong side. Might decide to wrap around and look for some kill potential, but he recognizes his reward right under his feet, which means they could know completely about it. And Solo Nazgul responded here in quick enough time, at least to for now, delay this push until the vision can be restricted from Team Finesse, and Leo Grande could actually make some flank maneuvers.
Yeah, if we're just looking at builds right now, Nazgul has actually grabbed the mask as well on turn, but so you can switch around between the power and the armor. It did get a little bit of buff in the last patch, which is why you're seeing it a lot more. 4 points for 24 power.
Yeah,
a lot of people will be pretty happy with that. Or switch around for 16 basic and 12 ability for 4 points. Yeah, it doesn't have any upgrades, and you can sell it later, but for what it costs, it's a significant amount.
Leo Grande is getting the full blunt of that Obliterate, and Suki, the damage from the Hive, the damage over time. That poisonous woman of Morgesh is able to pick up that kill. I don't know, I don't want to assume gender. It's 2017 Trigger Gems. And mid lane, let's see if they're able to continue to push down this wave here. Solo Nazgul up on the high ground, keeping an eye on his tier 2 tower. It's only 13 minutes. This would be a very confident push, especially with the superior, or the great wave clear coming out from Bellica. And they're now falling back, recognizing that they don't want to have anything to do with that. And they're going to fall back. No Raptors to be had, but still picked up a kill. Opened up the map a little bit. Next target looks to be a tier 1 tower on the left side of the map.
It's also getting to the 15-minute mark, and with things like Greystone, you can potentially just use the Reforge to actually tank the orb and go for a sneaky orb should you choose. Get that prime, get it activated early, but again, incredibly risky strats that I'm mentioning right now. And as we've been seeing, neither of these teams have a real sort of tendency to go for the risk. It's clean, as they try to play as cleanly as they can, low risk, high reward plays where they try to get a pick or two, get a tower. Okay, we've got a nice reward there, fairly minimal risk, no one side. And they try to rinse and repeat that until they gain a significant advantage where they can feel a bit more confident in taking the bigger risks.
We're starting to hit that stage of the game here where we see teams pretty much a lull in action for about the next 5 to 10 minutes. Tier 1 towers have all been taken out here for Reborn. Only now down to their tier 1 tower, or tier 2 towers, rather. Of course, on the other side of the field, Team Finesse still has their safe lane and mid lane available, but I wouldn't be surprised if those go down here in a relatively quick amount of time. We see Reborn just invading the strong side of the jungle, picking up the green buff on Greystone. Greystone with the green buff with Reforged online. Yeah, it's tower diving time right there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go underneath the tower, pick up some kills, and try to get some map control back into their favor. I mean, Reflect just casually walking in 1v5. No problem, not a big deal. Latching down to Suki. He himself has forced out a response, but the response is for the rest of the team to collapse. Leo Grande sweeping around, has caught out Suki. Reflect does not have that secondary life, but he was able to be a nuisance enough to where Suki was isolated and got caught out from the rotation from Nazgul and from Leo Grande sweeping through the weak side of the jungle. And here comes NATO. There's the inner fire. All the damage coming out. Landmine peels away. It's only Suki who's dead right now. Reflect has no Reforge online. Proficiency's in a very awkward position with not much mana. He uses the snare mines, not the landmine. He's going to get taken out. Leo Grande. He smashes, he grabs, and sometimes he does both at the same time. And 2 kills. First drill engagement goes over to Reborn. And now, what's the objective here? Raptors about to spawn. Going to the strong side jungle. We'll see how this breaks down, Jim. Chill Phil. Trying to run back right there.
Okay, so
I'm back. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm okay. It was a little bit of a mic issue.
Oh, strafe. I think he'll be okay. There's a tier 2 tower. There's Suki. Yeah, and he's going to be able to get away there. So Reborn comes up with that fight there. Gems, they really don't do much with it. I mean, Splinter is very low on health out of mana. Same story with Leo Grande. The Raptors are up. NATO has been free farming pretty much immediately after that fight went down, but I feel like they could have got a little more out of that. Still, they're going to be happy about an exchange, taking just a big boost of morale.
Yeah, neither of them actually went for the Raptors. It could have been sort of one of those plays where they can try sneak them. A lot of the wards have been placed, if they've been keeping track, have been placed on the strong side, the prime side of the jungle before the fighting that's been happening over there. So you could take a guess that this might not be Warden. Even if it is, we can clear it quick enough, especially if NATO's there. If he still has inner fire available, he can just take those down in a matter of seconds.
Posturing around the Raptors. Both teams, they want this. Carry's not there for Team Finesse, though. Strafe is the one over here with this wave pushed out. Not only do they want to make sure their tier 2 tower doesn't fall or take any damage, but more importantly, they want to make sure that Strafe is getting as much carry as possible. Reflect looks like, yep, he's just going to be setting this wave. He's killing only the range minions and then rotating away. Reborn has been caught out. Nazgul forced out with Reversal of Fortune. Chillfield gets peeled back by Grande, but he's going to get out. Make it rain on cooldown, but it's now down. Strafe and the front lines almost maybe forcing out and baiting out an overextension of Reborn, but they are too smart for that. Couple of blows going down, but no one got knocked down to the mat. No one down for 10 seconds quite yet. Strafe has got to be careful with his positioning here. Nazgul was there to set up a seismic assault. That could have been an easy pickings. Chill feels pretty low. He's just in the jungle at this stage of the game. Reborn? Are they going for the Raptors? They are. This is one of the strengths of Crux. He actually enables you to take down those Raptors very quickly. Strafe's going in. He uses a Reckoning onto NATO. NATO's in a lot of trouble, but we're trying to win the 1v1. Strafe gets it, though. Can he get away cleanly, though? He is. He's out of range. Lucere actually goes in, uses the 3-man Crash Bang Boom, although meanwhile, Reflect is getting 1v4, no Reforged, as they killed him twice by the time they're able to do anything. Beautifully executed by Team Finesse right there. Strafe goes in with a great deal of confidence, gets the 1v1 on a Sparrow, as he should, gets the bounty, denies Raptors, and at the same time, Lucere actually zoned out all 3 of them with that Crash Bang Boom to set up the kill and Reflect.
Strafe using the power of, the ultimate from Revenant to go into that Nether Realm, force the 1v1 that he can take, and you can see it 2 for 0. Yes, I believe only 1 Raptor fell down during that. So again, it's really well played here from the side of Finesse. They've been doing incredibly well. They've been actually positioning really well. So you can see the way their communication's been, I dare I say, improving match by match. Especially
I agree.
On their coordination in fights, and how they target people specifically. You can see that they all know who to target, and they're specifically targeting certain people with certain abilities.
Taking a look at Reflect 23 CS. Compare it to the offlane of Morgesh. I'm sorry, 23 card experience, rather. Both of them on equal footing. I hope he has more than 23 yes at 19 minutes in. But they're at pretty equal farm right there. Both the supports pretty starved. But that's to be expected at this stage of the game. Honor the Pure and Quenching Skills is online for both of them. So that's pretty much all they need. Around that 10 to 15 minute mark is you want to see that both of those items online. But you see Strafe in the mid lane actually takes out J. Leo Grande. And it's a very risky proposition to continue to give kills over to that Revenant. Nazgul was just tossed up in the air, completely not expecting the 5-man invasion coming out here. I'm gonna say something that I might get some flack for here, James, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Team Finesse is reminding me a lot of Triangle Formation. I'm just saying. Very similar styles.
Well, they were Triangle Formation, the sort of prime double carry comp, and they were seeing a double carry comp yet again, so I'm not surprised that they're reminding you of them. It's the same sort of team composition. They're playing it in the same sort of fashion as well.
Oh, NATO caught out. Actually faked out the shields from Muriel. Reflex going in, but the rest of his team really isn't there to support him. Reforged on cooldown. Reversal of Fortune queued up by Master Splinter. Look for it to go in. Get the snare and a chill fill, but Reflect just gets blown up. That basic armor damage mitigation clearly on cooldown. Their Reckoning immediately used. The smash and grab was good from Leo Grande, but the reaction time from Strafe to immediately use that to get himself out of a situation that even potentially could have been bad to ensure that he gets away. Greystone off the field. No split pushing nuisance to deal with. Looks like they're going to fall back, stabilize, set some lanes. 30 seconds is a small window of opportunity. Not sure if it's enough. Raptors are up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them head over that way.
No, they are going to probably set up some vision around Prime as well. As 21 minutes into the game. It's, again, looking like one of those games where it could go down to the wire. It could go down to the point where everyone's going to be full build. The way fights have been working out, neither team, has fully taken a fight. It's never like a team wipe. It's always like a pick or two, and then they lose a few themselves, overextend. And we're seeing that repeated again in this game. And again, look at the vision control from the two teams, and you can see where their priorities lie within that as well. So Master Splinter grabbing control of the Raptor pit. They want to try and get that. And also Leo dropping a ward on the Prime. So they got their bases covered there.
Yeah, the Raptors being taken there. Strafe going to continue to get all that precious card experience. Even with Strafe being 4-0-2, Nadosic being 0-1-1, the farm, up until those Raptors, was pretty much even. And it's still, with only a 2-point card discrepancy between the two carries, it's still pretty admirable and shows how great of a farmer Nadosic is on the carry. And it's more than just last-hitting creep. It's about making sure that you're in position and you're not putting yourself in an awkward position to last-hitting the creep, but at the same time maintaining a defensive posture. And that's what you want to do on the Sparrow. One thing that Team Reborn has plenty of is wave clear. There was a wave there at one point in time, but between the Void Bomb coming out from Bellica and the Rain of Arrows coming out from Sparrow, I feel like they can almost indefinitely hold a tower. If it's just like a 5v5 situation like we just saw right there, without Prime card activation, granting the aura to your creep, I don't really see a big opportunity for Team Finesse to just force Team Reborn out from underneath their own tower.
Yeah, it's incredibly tricky. You also have to worry about the reversal of fortune coming out from Muriel. So you go for the tower dive and then you get slowed, and then there's consecrated ground, more shields on top of it. It means that you're going to be tanking the tower for a lot longer than you would like. And that is not an ideal scenario. Reflect, slightly caught out here, but might not actually be okay here.
Reforge, pop. Luxair uses the stasis gem, subjugate a little bit off the mark right there. Using Assault the Gates to get himself out. Thunk is there. Leo Grande's trying to do what he can, but the great landing's a landmine to isolate him out. Reversal Fortune again being used on the Greystone. Crash, bang, boom, knocks up both of those. But Leo Grande's in the front line trying to drop down Suki, but they can't do it. He's too elusive. And Curse with a big dagger drops down on Reflect. The man gets taken out twice, and he's out of the field for a minute. Now Solo Nazgul is getting bodied around here by Lucer and Chill Phil. Other side of the field there, we do see that Nadosic was able to pick up a kill on the Suki, but unfortunately, the price they had to pay was the death of Solo Nazgul. 1 for 2. Nadosic picks up a kill. Strafe, he was able to get away cleanly as well. That's just a somewhat even an even exchange. If I'm Team Reborn, I'm at least just being okay with the fact that team fight didn't go any worse than it did.
They are probably a little bit far behind. I mean, NATO 6 sitting at 38, Strafe sitting at 39. They've gotten to the point where they've got their blinks, they've got their power on the board, and crit is starting to come into play right now. So Spear of the Rift Hunter on NATO is starting to build up some of that crit chance. Also, as you mentioned, as we've seen before, stasis gems are being built, which means we're going to be hearing a lot of that chime over the fight. Where people are going to be, it's about how you use it. A lot of the time, people with stasis gem they think they might need a few more seconds to survive, but you'll see a lot of these players, they'll use it to dodge a key ability.
Yep.
So they'll stasis gem to dodge the reforged damage and slow. They'll stasis gem to dodge subjugate from Severog. Although in that scenario, you're pretty much standing still anyway, and you're rooted. Yeah. But again, it's stop sort of the follow-up combo that might.
The curse from Morgesh is the biggest one that comes to mind. That's the biggest one that comes to mind. Is using that to dodge the ultimate. That global ultimate, that ultimate's so scary, man. It still like creeps me out anytime I see that thing come on the field. I think other than Neural Disruptor on Bellica, the most satisfying ultimate is Curse from Morgesh. At least for me personally, when you see that get the kill, it's just it feels so good.
I'm a jungler, so for me it's the Severog Siphon. So you just siphon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just for you get the stacks, the bonus stacks, and you see if you're coincidentally lucky to get a kill on sort of the 50 mark or the 20 mark, and you power up and you get extra shoulder pads as you get the siphon kill, that's extremely satisfying.
Have we seen Chofil in a game where he's not playing Severog? I'm trying to think. I think he played Grux once this weekend. I think for the most part, every other game he's played Severog, and he's played a damn good, consistent Severog. His subjugates, very rarely is he missing key subjugates. Very rarely. We're here at the 26-minute mark, though, Gems, and we're starting to see the Battle of Vision or the Orb Prime. This game pretty much following along the normal competitive trends that we have seen this weekend thus far. Raptors starting to become a little bit less of a priority. Strafe at 42 points, NATO at 41. So they're not at 60 points, but they are at a level to where they're dishing out enough damage to where it's not all... They've hit their prerequisite farm. They got their crit bonus. They have their crit online. Next, generally, that luxury item you want to see, not necessarily a luxury item on the carry, but the next utility item you see picked up after that is Lifesteal. And I'm sure both of those are going to be picking that up here in just a moment. Reflect gets caught out again. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're a Greystone, but you got to be so very careful. They have enough CC to keep them in place. And Reflects get taken out 60 minutes with no Space Astronaut Knight, dude. And Raptors, Orb Prime, right, left lane set against Reborn. A lot of opportunity here, and it looks like they're going to be going for the Orb Prime here, guys.
It looks like they're more likely going to set up the wave first. Reflect is down, so they have a lot of options here as to what they can do, but they didn't actually set up the waves beforehand, which means that, again, if those rotations come out from the side of Reborn, if they manage to actually get there in time, they could potentially stop this.
We're going to see if there is going to be a contention here. How are we looking there, Gems?
Well, Nazgul is falling down to the hive. He's trying to stay in the last couple of ticks and still falling down. And again, this looks like Reborn is slowly dying.
Luciner's inside of that stasis here. I'm trying to do what he can. He uses the Crash Bang Boom out of an act of desperation, but he gets taken out. Not much utilization there. NATO sick with the inner fire, but Suki's tanking up with the stasis here. Reversal of Fortune. Looks like that was used aggressively, but actually the mine knocked her out of the distance, and the Reversal of Fortune didn't get that much value. The smash and grab was going to be the last act of Leo Grande, but maybe not. Maybe that was just an intermission, and that's a triple kill right there from NATO sick. 2 for 3 exchange. It's only Proficiency and Chill Phil on the field right now. Piercing Arrow doesn't quite have the ranges. He blinks away. Could have been the death of him, but that Orb Prime. How many times have we seen that Orb Prime where teams feel confident going in there, but the opponent goes in with what seems to be a disadvantage, and then ultimately turns the fight and potentially the momentum of the game around. And in this case, Gems, it's Reborn through and through.
Yeah, they managed to get a fight in their favor. It looked like a sort of a riskier call on the Prime. It looked like Finesse had the sort of Prime set up perfectly for them, but it wasn't enough.
Subjugate really off the mark. Nadosic gets knocked up. His R2000 rocket on cooldown. Alacrity used. Speed boost used. And Nado's going to be able to get away. He did get a kill on a J. Leo Grande, but the tier 2 tower has fallen. And they're going to stabilize. Maybe look for Raptors here. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. NATO Sick is at 49 card points out of 38. The dude's got 11 points to spend. So I'm sure we're going to see the lifesteal as well as crit bonus coming online here in just a moment.
And we're posturing around the prime yet again. These teams are looking to try find the fight here. Like,
how many? We actually saw Team Oxygen do this to Team Finesse, where after a fight, when they all backed to heal up after a fight, they know, everyone on Team Finesse knows that they all backed right now, and they started to feign pressure against the Orb Prime, and that pretty much forces Reborn to have to respawn over to the Orb Prime, as opposed to pushing down a tower, going over the Raptors, setting lanes. But I think Reborn knows the jig is up. They're going to fall back to their respective areas. We already see Nazgul on the left side of the map dealing with that pressure.
And we have been talking about sort of the builds quite a bit on and off, and there's 3 stasis gems on either side right now, so that's 6 in total on play right now that can be used to dodge important skill shots. Also, J Leo has actually managed to grab the Thermobond, so a lot of the CC that's coming out here, so the Narbash Thunk, the Howitzer, the Mine, the Subjugate, the Root, and that means he's going to be healing quite a bit on the Roots and the stuns, and that's going to help him survive a lot as well. Yeah.
The Hive as well. Now, does he get an instance from that every single dot?
No, it's on knock-up effects, so crowd control effects. He gets
Stun root or knock-up. Okay, so it's not, okay. I was like, Hive me, bro, please. Give me all the HP. No, sorry, Thermobond. You weren't designed that way. Reflects, just sitting in the Orb Prime pit, trying to gauge what Team Finesse is trying to do at this stage of the game. They all are grouped around here posturing. Not sure how these waves are set as they both are across, intersecting that line of scrimmage down the midline of the field. Purple buff was the one that spawned about 20 seconds ago. It's on Nazgul, but it's going to expire here in about 15 seconds. These teams are just... we got a standoff here. Strafe rotating around the corner. Leo Grande sitting there looking for a smash and grab, looking for something. This is a very tense moment for both sides of the field. If anyone's going to charge, it's got to be Reflect. Seismic Assault over at a Lucer. Honor the Pure used to negate the damage. And it's this Reborn forcing the issue as they have recognized that proficiency is on the other side of the field and tried to force the issue. But good retreat, a smart retreat coming out of Team Finesse.
Can't really risk it. Reflex barely getting out alive on just a slither of
Leo Grande. There's a Subjugate. It hits on Leo. The shield has been used. Challenge of the Warlord. He's taking a lot of damage, but they're looking to turn this around on Chillfield. Lucer. Crash, bang, boom. They're isolating because Reflect was knocked out. But Lucer gets taken out. They have to get a kill under effect to turn this around if they're able to get this going. But no, it's Leo Grande is the one who's going to be able to get the turnaround kill. So it is a 1-for-1 of support for a juggler. And with no smash and grab, this may be Strafe and Suki aggressively moving forward. They don't have to worry about smash and grab or anything like that. But as the fog goes down, as that happens, it looks like both of these teams are going to take the 1-for-1 trade and fall back to their bases.
I'm slightly out of sync, so bear with me as I figure.
No worries, my man. No worries, my man. So that trade, with it being the trade as we saw, very close engagement, but I think teams, all things considered, are probably going to be okay. Reflect and Leo are going to be back on the field here in just a moment. Mid lane, as Nazgul is cleaning up mid lane, as that was pushing down the gut there. And these guys continue to take engagements around very important objectives. The team fights continue to be slight favors in one side, but these engagements have not yet been decisive enough for one team to feel confident enough to actually commit to a strong objective, whether that's a tier 2 or inhibitor push, or whether that's an Orb Prime. The Raptors are now an afterthought. 33 minutes into the game, the Raptors are now an afterthought. Looking at the numbers here, we see NATO's at 54, Strafe is at 52. So they are going to hit their max here in just a moment. Leo Grande is getting knocked up. He's got to be careful. The damage mitigation is there from Muriel, but I think at this point in time, it's going to be so very close. Beautifully timed Alacrity right there to completely negate the damage out of the curse. Lucera, again, has just been getting so much value out of this Crash Bang Boom. I can't think of a time where we saw a Narbash get that much value, but Suki was taken out, though. Reflect, Chillfill, and Strafe is who he is zoning out at this point in time. Nazgul moves forward. If he has a Seismic Assault, if he has that Neural Disruptor, it might be enough. But the Obliterate, completely negated by the Stasis Gem. But after that, I'm not sure what he can do. The Reckoning has been used. Obliterate's going to be back up on cooldown. Strafe's going to secure the kill. A 1-for-1. Strafe picks up the extra bounty as well, getting him that much closer to 60 card points. Oh, no. Strafe is in a bad position. Does he have a Blink Charm? He doesn't have Reckoning. He's going to get taken out. Reforged on cooldown, but that is 100% worth it. A misplay out of Strafe right there. If he got away cleanly, they could have reset and got themselves a good footing inside of this game.
Yeah, again, neither team taking a decisive fight, so it's a bit of a stalemate yet again. But we do see a really strong play coming out here from Reborn. They've recognized that they're not around just yet to deal with it, Finesse, and they might be able to take it really quickly with Power of Sparrow.
Looking for the steal. This is a 3v4. Reflect gets caught up. He doesn't have Reforge, don't forget. The Prime card has been activated over onto Reborn. Stasis Gem already down for Master Splinter. Colossus Blow used by Chill Phil. Now he has to get this out the hell out of the dodge. Reflect's been taken out, but Chill Phil is going to be a reprisal killed by J. Leo Grande. Is there any more response from Reborn? There is not. Reflect is the one who was taken out in the engagement. Essentially a one-for-one trade in that situation, if you think about it. Not only are you getting rid of Greystone, the split-putting nuisance against a Prime card push, but also you're denying the Prime card for a little bit later once both of those heroes are back on the field.
You delay it by about 40 seconds. So that's an extra 40 seconds spare time you might have. However, with the lanes being pushed here against Reborn, even though they do have the Prime, they're going to have to set up their waves anyway, at which point we're going to expect to see Reflex come back. Looking at builds, NATO's nearly at 60. He's at that point of Sparrow where it's going to be a huge beast. Hemorrhage as well coming out from NATO.
Oh, man. That's so much attack speed, Gems.
So much attack speed, especially with Feral Stone having minor kinetics as well. 22 extra there as well. So a lot of power come out. NATO doesn't have a blink, but does have a stasis gem. So that is a point to note. But with Master Splinter being on a mural, can provide a lot of shields and heals to sort of mitigate the fact that there is no blink on the side of NATO.
Stasis Gem sort of provides that same utility that a blink charm has, specifically in terms of on a Sparrow, you get that blink charm. Very rarely do you use it aggressively. You would say maybe on like a Twin Blast or a Murdoch, but if that's the case, you get blink shot anyway. But that's the beautiful thing about the blink shot the stasis gem rather, that I like on Sparrow is it serves the same purpose, but also you can build power into it. So it's basically a blink charm that you can turn into even more power, even more damage. NATO's electing not to do that, but that's still an option available to him right now. He's got all the attack speed and the mid lane push coming down the gut. Now both lateral lanes are set, or at least maybe not set, but at least pushed far enough away from Team Finesse that they don't have to worry about this. This is going to be a full 5-on-5 engagement. It's all about this mid inhibitor. It's all about the subjugates. Hits Nazgul. It is on cooldown, but we'll be back up here in just a moment. NATO has all the attack speed. You see that one mark takes NATO down to about 3/4 immediately. Leo Grande goes in, they gets knocked up behind there. Naseer pops the Stasis Gem. Actually, the mistimed seismic assault by Nazgul. And now Reflect. Reforge on cooldown. Can they CC him? Can they get him down? The subjugate. Oh, a little bit of miscommunication, but it's enough. Reflect is down 5v4. Now Chill Phil and Suki are both charging forward, trying to get something going. Are they going to have enough damage? The Hive is on NATO. Is there a blink for proficiency? No. Blink on Chill Phil. Looking for a potential subjugate. Uses the Smasher Grab, but that might be a little bit early. He's going to get away. Good seismic assault down from the low ground up to the high. And Reborn, they need to cut their losses. They need to continue to retreat. The Obliterate used, but being completely negated by the shields right there. And Team Finesse, they hold. Reflect gets taken out by the time they're able to do much damage to the inhibitor whatsoever. And Reborn have to pretty much fall back to their base with their tail tucked in between their legs.
So a successful defense of that inhibitor for the side of Finesse. Holding off that Prime buff that was active on the side of Reborn. And again, it's getting to that point where the builds are sort of going to start to stagnate. The power isn't going to be increasing too much, especially for the carries. And it's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays out.
Going to see what they're going to do. Both of them are pretty much just falling back right now, trying to spin the points that they had after that, I guess you could say, failed push in the mid lane. But Team Finesse are doing a great job at defending that. All dating back to Team Oxygen defending against Team Finesse in game number 1 of the last best of 3 series. I think they really... The thing that has impressed me most from Team Finesse is how they have adapted and improved game to game. We mentioned that earlier before this series started, but it is a pretty remarkable ability that they have to do that. I really can't think of how much a new team has made such large strides inside of a series, inside of a Paragon Competitive League weekend, and improved so much to now they're going toe-to-toe with Reborn.
Yeah, they are. And again, there's no Prime, there's no sort of big objectives on the board right now. So it's going to be up to these teams to see how they can set up the map in their favor, try to get the vision control in the jungles if they can, and then try and get a fight in which where if they do win, they have the minion waves in their favor so they can try to take them.
Chill Phil, man, he just goes in there. He just goes in there, got himself out of what could have been a little bit of an awkward situation, but both these teams posturing or Prime is not online. I think they're just trying to battle for the vision over it is what they're doing here for the next spawning of it. Set the waves. Raptors aren't up either, but you know, with both of the carries at 60 card points, it's just, we called it an afterthought before. At this point, it's not even a thought, to be honest. Maybe something that they can fall back if they want to get a little bit of a boost of card experience over to their jungler, over to their mid laner, or even their off laner, depending on who's at a deficit and who they want to make that experience go to. 40 minutes in, left lane siege pending down. 5v5. See what they can do. Reflect has reforged. Void drone thrown out already. We see Suki is pretty much going to be able to kill that off. So no void drone. Mana pools are healthy. Strafe has Reckoning online. If he goes in there and just completely isolates NATO. The thing is, though, of course, that inside of Reckoning, inside of the Nether Realm, between Revenant and whomever he decides to reckon, more than likely NATO, Muriel, Master Splinter, will be able to shield them, turning a 1v1 into either a wash or potentially turning around, especially because Sparrow at 60 card points in a 1v1 with shields. I feel like she actually has the favorable 1v1 in that matchup. It all depends on if Muriel is there or not. But right now, these guys are pretty much just standing off, looking for an opportunity. J-Leo looking for an opportunity to go in. Nazgul looking for a seismic assault. On the other side of the field is Proficiency and Chill Phil looking to set up their abilities to either isolate someone out, knock them up, or use that subjugate. Just patience for Team Finesse. Next wave is here with double siege minion. And here we go. Void Bomb used. Subjugate off the mark. Void Drone immediately killed. Chill Phil is sitting, swinging the hammer. 2 creep. It's going to be down to 1. Legio goes in. Landmine beautifully executed. Well done. Quick on the heels to knock J. Leo Grande away from his initiating. Not the most important ultimate gems for Grux, but they still are able to bait out the drone the second time around. And all the meanwhile, we do see that inhibitor getting taken down. And that's Reborn pretty much have to fall back to that inhibitor. And just this is how you manipulate the map to your advantage. They take out the tier 2 tower. Are they going to continue to be able to do this? Because look at mid lane as well. Mid lane, I believe, is pushing out against Reborn. So they're going to transition over there and allow just the creep to do the work. And they're going to be happy. Map control firmly in the hands of Team Finesse. Orb Prime just spawning. Are they going to go for this in a 5v5 situation? Reflect has the Reforged online, so he can go in there for a potential steal if that's something they decide to do.
It is online. However, there's also a black buff there for the side of Strafe. He's going to grab that black, which means that this is going to be a really strong fight for here. Revenant with a black buff can also power down Prime should they choose to. And
yeah,
he has enough. He also has the green to survive quite a number of the hits. So there is an option for them just to try and sneak it here if they want.
Chill Phil, J. Leo Grande, swinging at each other. This choke point right here, they're just zoning. They're just letting Strafe essentially do it by himself and almost baiting Reborn to come out there. Subjugate off the mark. Chill Phil doesn't have much mana. He only has maybe 1 subjugate and a colossal blow in the tank, and after that, he's not going to be able to do much here. Taking a look at the waves, though, right lane is deep into Reborn territory, while the other lanes are pretty much even at this stage. Team Finesse falling back to the mid lane to hopefully set that wave and continue these guys. This is just a dance. It's a dance between these two guys, and it's all a matter of
who mana for 1 ability, by the way. Literally just the 1.
Leo Grande blinks forward. Oh, the smash and grab. Proficiency ascends to the skies to keep himself alive, and now Leo Grande put himself in a very awkward spot. He's getting juggled around. Reversal of Forge and Shield. They're trying to do what he can. Reflect goes in with a strategic Reforge. The snare is enough for Leo Grande to get out of his situation. Oh, NATO. The Stasis Gem negates it as well as the shields. Can they keep themselves alive? NATO Sick finally gets taken out. They put everything they could in to keep that Sparrow alive. That is what they need. The DPS output engine that they require. Oh, Strafe, 1 more auto attack. 1 more instance of damage. There it is. He gets taken out. Suki's low, but unfortunately, there's not follow-up for them to take down Morigesh. Now they're charging. They're saying screw the Orb Prime, and they're going immediately to the left lane. The wave is just outside of the inhibitor here. They're pretty low, but they're feeling good enough to go for this push here. And I think as long as they play this right, they should be able to pick up an inhibitor here.
Suki using that stasis gem to stop the Neural Disruptor of Bellica, incredibly well timed. It's one of the abilities you don't really have sort of a big queue. You have to kind of predict before the Neural Disruptor even comes out because of how fast the animation is, and he was able to do that.
Lucer, don't
die,
allowed
him to survive.
If he dies, that could be really bad for him. But they actually turn around Leo Grande. He's so tanky with the Muriel trying to survive. The Thermo Bond has so much value here, and they finally take him down. I don't know how Leo survived in the last fight. but he does get taken out. Lucer, I thought for sure was going to go down from Leo Grande, but mid lane inhibitor is under quite a bit of siege. Thankfully, Nadosic is here to deal with all those ranged minions. Team Finesse, they have a crippling blow up against Team Reborn. Team Reborn on the ropes. Let's see if Team Finesse are going to be able to bring this back, or if Reborn are going to pull a Team Oxygen and make a very unfavorable comeback.
Prime is also still up, so here's a point of contention, but there is that inhibitor down. Again, it's the one not far away from the Prime, so they can push it up and then join the fight fairly quickly, just dropping them down from the gold buff area to get to the Prime really quickly, if there is anyone who's going to be pushing that up. Again, looking at builds, they're nearly all getting to that point where they're 60-point builds. So looking at it, Suki's 54, Chill for 50.
Oh, Nazgul. Oh, ouch. That stings. No Bellica for
That
77.
might be just enough now for actually Finesse to go and take this Prime and then try and finish straight off of that. One of the main sources of damage has actually just been taken out, as you mentioned, and that might actually be enough because it's 45 minutes into the game. 50-second cooldown timer on Bellica here as well.
They have to contend. They have to contend. They know that they have to do. They know that they have to do something about this, but they're just getting zoned out. Suki and Proficiency sitting there, zoning out for Chiofu, Lucer, and Strafe to get him down. Prime card online. They're hoping to get a kill onto Suki by the time they're able to get back and protect him. They are able to pick him up. Nado gets the kill. But Reflect is getting zoned out. Reversal of Fortune onto Leo Grande, but he gets knocked up. Strafe is sitting there. He goes into the Nether Realm. Leo Grande decides to use his Stasis Gem to negate as much damage as he can and buy himself some time. Reflect will be falling, but he's going to be back. Ascending from the skies, and down he comes, snaring up Chill Phil. Allowing Leo Grande to get away, at least for now. Thermobond, save me now. Not enough. Chill Phil swings the hammer and takes down Leo Grande. Right lane susceptible for a core push. Solo Nazgul is going to be alive here in 10 seconds. They don't have Suki. It's going to essentially be a 4v4, but with Prime card activated online and Strafe being as healthy as he is, are they going to go for the core? They're not. They're going for mid gyms.
Yeah, I'm going to take this mid hit here. Most likely, it's already got the wave there. There's no one there to defend it. And I don't think Solo Nazgul can really do much here right now. Prime isn't activated, and everyone's effectively more than 60 points in power because of the Prime card activation. You can see them rotating now here. They're going to just go for the clean sort of 3 inhibitors down play. They have a huge wave here set up here.
Oh, wow.
Where they can take this incredibly...
1, 2, 3... 3 siege minions and a whole bunch of creep coming down the pipeline. Essentially, a 4v4. Nazgul's here. I mean, Bellica has good wave clear, but they can at this point just chew through the backdoor protection and take it out. Chill Phil isolates out Master Splinter. Immediately they switch over to Nazgul, and he gets taken out. This is not looking good for Reborn. An unlikely victory coming out here from Team Finesse, assuming that they're able to finish it here. It's 5v3. Prime card still online. Reforge down. They're backing up. Make it rain being used. Both onto Leo Grande and Reflect. Reflect has to assault the gates out of there, but Strafe is there to shoot him. Link for it. Get the kill. Over to Nado. GG. Game 1 goes over to Team Finesse. What a series we have ahead of us. Who would have thought that Team Finesse would come as a complete underdog, unknown name team, and take out Reborn in game number 1 of the finals here?
Well, they've been showing us all tournament long what they have been capable of. Consistently strong play. This comp they've been playing throughout the tournament, where they've been getting a lot of carries, hasn't really, and no one's really been able to deal with it, to be honest, that effectively. And again, 1-0 up, first game of the finals, actually gone over to Finesse, and again, a long game, and again, a 40-plus minute game where neither team was willing to take early game risks, which is what we've been talking about throughout the day, throughout the evening, where they've been waiting and posturing around objectives quite a bit, but never sort of really just going for like a big prime play when they think there's a slight lull and just going for it and trying to snowball off of that. And it seems to me like Finesse has a better grasp of sort of that point in the game where it's sort of a standoff, because they've been winning a lot more of these standoffs than most other teams right now.
I mean, you know that Team Finesse is not afraid to go the distance. That is very, very clear. They are not afraid to go the distance with that last series, having one game that was 50 minutes, the other one was 45, and then game 3 was a little bit more normal time. I think it was around 35, 36 minutes. But this game here, I mean, we had 60-point card wall. on multiple different heroes on both sides of the team. Plenty of stasis gems all across the game here. Clearly, that card is the big favor for just completely negating really strong abilities. And everyone has been using that card to very great effect. And I think we're going to continue to see that here, actually favoring it over Blink Charms. Stasis Gem plus Blink Charm at the same time. That seems like a lot of utility, and you are giving up quite a bit of power when it comes to damage or other stats that you're looking for. But clearly, these teams see the value in it, especially Team Finesse and Team Reborn. Game number 2. If Team Finesse can TO Reborn, that would be something we have not seen in a very long time, at least to most recent recollection. I'm Shane, that's Gems. This is the Paragon Competitive League. We'll see you for game number 2 here in just a moment.